Most people over 60 don't realize this. We quietly lose about 1% of our bone mass every single year. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't feel it until one day a small stumble or a simple fall leads to a painful fracture. That's when the reality sets in. Our bones aren't as strong as they used to be. But here's the hopeful part. Protecting your bones doesn't have to mean swallowing handfuls of pills or paying for expensive treatments. Some of the best defenses are simple foods you may already enjoy at your dinner table. Doctors now agree that food is the true foundation of bone health. Calcium, of course, is the key mineral, but it's not just in a glass of milk. There are a wide variety of everyday superfoods, vegetables, seeds, even certain fruits that provide not only calcium, but also other crucial nutrients like vitamin K and magnesium. Together, these natural sources strengthen bones more effectively than relying on calcium alone. Take Mary, for example. At 68, she was told her bone density had slipped into the danger zone. Instead of turning to high-dose supplements right away, she made small but powerful changes. A cup of yogurt at breakfast, a bowl of leafy greens at lunch, and sardines once a week. Within a year, her bone scans had stabilized, and just as important, she felt steadier and more confident walking outdoors. Mary's experience shows us how much difference the right foods can make, and that's what this video is about. Over the next 20 minutes, we'll explore 10 calcium-rich superfoods that can protect against bone loss, support your independence, and even surprise you with how easy they are to add to your meals. When most people think of calcium, the first food that comes to mind is milk, and for good reason. Dairy has long been one of the richest and most reliable sources of calcium. But here's the key: as we age, our bodies don't always process heavy, fatty dairy as well as they used to. That's why lighter, easier to digest options like low-fat yogurt, kefir, and certain cheeses can be far more effective. They provide not just calcium but also protein, which is another building block for strong bones. One simple bowl of yogurt, for example, can give you nearly a third of your daily calcium needs. And when you add berries or nuts on top, you're layering in antioxidants and magnesium nutrients that help your body actually use that calcium more effectively. It's about combining the right foods, not just relying on one. But what if you don't tolerate dairy, or you've cut it back for other health reasons? That's where fortified foods come in. Today, many plant-based milks like almond, soy, or oat milk are enriched with calcium and vitamin D. These aren't just substitutes for people who avoid dairy. They're genuine bone-friendly options in their own right. A glass of fortified almond milk, for instance, can match or even surpass the calcium content of cow's milk without the lactose. Consider a man in his early 70s who swapped his daily soda for a glass of fortified soy milk. Over the course of a year, he didn't just cut out added sugar. He gave his bones a steady, reliable supply of calcium and vitamin D. At his next checkup, his doctor noted that his bone density had held steady, a huge win at his age. Sometimes, it's not about dramatic changes, but about these small, consistent shifts. Whether you prefer traditional dairy or plant-based alternatives, the lesson is simple. A cup a day is a practical way to protect your bones. And when you build that into your breakfast or afternoon snack, you're not just fueling your body. You're investing in the independence that strong bones allow. Calcium isn't only found in milk and cheese. Nature has hidden it in some of the most vibrant green foods on our plate. Leafy vegetables like kale, collard greens, and bok choy are surprisingly rich in calcium, often providing as much in a single serving as a small glass of milk. But the real advantage is that they come packaged with vitamin K, fiber, and magnesium nutrients that work together to keep bones strong and flexible. Take kale, for example. A single cup of cooked kale offers nearly the same calcium as a third of a cup of milk. The difference is that kale also provides vitamin K, which acts like a traffic director, guiding calcium to your bones instead of letting it build up where it doesn't belong, like in arteries. That's a natural teamwork you don't get from supplements alone. Spinach, while also rich in calcium, has compounds that make absorption a little trickier. But when you pair spinach with beans, lentils, or a squeeze of lemon juice, you help your body unlock more of that mineral. It's all about simple combinations that make everyday meals more powerful. And let's not forget legumes. White beans, chickpeas, and lentils are affordable, easy to cook, and quietly loaded with calcium. Half a cup of white beans delivers as much calcium as a small slice of cheese, along with plant-based protein and fiber to keep you energized. Many seniors find that swapping meat-heavy meals for beans a few times a week not only lightens digestion, but also strengthens their bones over time. There's a story I often hear from active retirees who garden. One woman in her mid-60s began adding a bean salad with kale and olive oil to her lunch 3 times a week. She joked that it was rabbit food, but after a year, her doctor pointed out that her bone density had stabilized, and she herself noticed she wasn't as stiff in the mornings. The small bowl of rabbit food turned out to be one of her best health investments. The takeaway here is simple. Leafy greens and legumes are everyday foods, not exotic superfoods. You don't have to search far. Just put them on your plate regularly. Think of them as the quiet protectors working in the background, day after day, to keep your bones from slipping away. One of the most overlooked sources of calcium isn't found in the dairy aisle or the produce section. It's hiding in the seafood shelf. Small fish that you eat whole, bones and all, are some of the richest natural sources of calcium you can find. Sardines, canned salmon with bones, and anchovies may not look like much, but their tiny edible bones are packed with the very minerals your skeleton craves. A small can of sardines, for example, can give you as much calcium as a full glass of milk. And unlike supplements, the calcium in these little fish comes wrapped with vitamin D, healthy fats, and protein, all of which help your bones absorb and use it better. It's like getting a complete bone-strengthening package in one simple food. Some people hesitate at the idea of eating bones, but when they're canned, they soften so much you hardly notice them. In fact, many seniors are pleasantly surprised the first time they try canned salmon in a salad or sardines mashed on whole grain toast. It's not only nutritious, but also quick and affordable, which makes it easy to add to your weekly routine. Take the story of a retired teacher in his 70s. He used to skip fish altogether because he thought it was too much trouble to cook. Then a friend suggested canned salmon. Within months of adding it twice a week, he noticed fewer muscle cramps and more steady energy. At his next checkup, his doctor pointed out that his calcium intake had doubled without a single supplement. So, if you're looking for a way to give your bones a real boost, don't overlook these small fish. They may not be fancy, but they deliver powerful results. Just 2 servings a week can go a long way in protecting your bones and keeping you steady on your feet. If you're finding these tips helpful so far, this is the perfect moment to pause and make sure you don't miss the rest. Every week on Senior Vic Health, we break down complex health advice into simple, practical steps made for life after 60. So if bone health, energy, or healthy aging matters to you, a quick tap on the subscribe button will make sure you're always one step ahead. And I'd love to hear from you. 2. What's your current go-to source of calcium? Do you rely more on dairy, vegetables, or something else entirely? Drop your answer in the comments below, because your experience could inspire someone else watching. And if you've learned even one new idea so far, giving this video a quick like helps spread it to more people who need it. Alright, let's get back to the list, because the next foods might surprise you even more. When it comes to bone health, few people realize just how much power is packed into something as small as a seed or a handful of nuts. Almonds, chia seeds, and sesame seeds might look tiny, but they deliver a concentrated dose of calcium along with healthy fats and magnesium, 2 nutrients that help your body lock calcium into your bones. Take almonds, for example. Just 1 small handful, about 20 nuts, provides the same calcium as a 1/4 cup of milk. Pair them with a piece of fruit in the afternoon, and you've created a snack that not only fuels your energy but also strengthens your bones. For those who like variety, almond butter on whole grain toast is another delicious way to add bone-supporting nutrients to your day. Sesame seeds are another hidden treasure. A tablespoon sprinkled over salads or stirred into stir-fries adds a surprising boost of calcium. In many cultures, sesame has been used for generations as a natural support for bones and joints. It's a simple tradition we can carry forward with modern meals. And then there are chia seeds. When soaked overnight in milk or plant-based milk, they form a pudding that's rich in calcium, omega-3s, and fiber. Many seniors find this an easy, no-cook breakfast that feels like a treat while quietly working to protect their bones. I recall one gentleman in his late 60s who used to skip breakfast entirely. His daughter introduced him to chia pudding topped with berries. Within months, he felt fuller in the mornings, had more consistent energy, and, importantly, was finally getting a steady supply of calcium without even thinking about it. The beauty of nuts and seeds is how effortlessly they fit into daily life. A sprinkle here, a handful there, and over time, they add up to a serious defense against bone loss. When we think of calcium, dairy and leafy greens usually steal the spotlight. But some of the richest and most surprising sources are foods you might never expect: sweet figs, protein-packed tofu, and even a thick, dark syrup called blackstrap molasses. Each of these offers a unique, natural way to add calcium to your diet without much effort. Let's start with figs. Just 4 dried figs can deliver as much calcium as half a cup of milk. They're naturally sweet, making them a great alternative to sugary desserts. For many older adults, swapping cookies or cakes for a handful of figs satisfies a sweet tooth while protecting bones at the same time. One man in his 70s made this simple change and noticed fewer nighttime leg cramps and steadier energy during the day. Sometimes the smallest swaps create the biggest difference. Next up is tofu, made from soybeans. Tofu is not only a plant-based protein, but also a calcium powerhouse, especially when it's made with calcium sulfate. Just half a block can provide nearly half of your daily calcium needs. The beauty of tofu is its versatility. It takes on the flavor of whatever you cook it with, so it can slip into stir-fries, soups, or even be blended into smoothies without much fuss. And then there's blackstrap molasses. Though less common today, it was once a staple in many kitchens. A single tablespoon contains a surprising amount of calcium, along with iron and magnesium, stirred into oatmeal or warm water. It creates a rich, comforting drink that nourishes both bones and energy levels. These unexpected sources are more than curiosities. They're practical tools for variety. Eating the same foods day after day can get dull, and boredom often leads people to abandon healthy routines. By rotating in figs, tofu, or molasses, you keep meals interesting while still feeding your bones what they need. The lesson here is that calcium doesn't always look like milk or cheese. Sometimes, it comes disguised as a sweet fruit, a humble block of soy, or an old-fashioned syrup. Keep an open mind, because your strongest bones may come from the foods you least expect. By now, we've explored a wide range of calcium-rich superfoods, dairy, and fortified options, leafy greens, small fish with edible bones, nuts and seeds, and even surprising picks like figs and tofu. The question is, how do you bring them all together in a way that feels easy, not overwhelming? Think of it as building a bone-strong menu for your week. Start your morning with a foundation, maybe a cup of yogurt topped with chia seeds and berries, or a small chia pudding if you prefer plant-based. At lunch, add a serving of leafy greens with beans or lentils. Keep it simple, a kale and white bean salad, or even a warm soup. For dinner, rotate in canned salmon or sardines once or twice a week, paired with vegetables and whole grains. And for snacks, trade cookies or chips for a handful of almonds or a few dried figs. You don't need to eat all 10 foods every day. The goal is variety over the week. Each time you swap soda for fortified milk, or sprinkle sesame seeds on your stir-fry, you're stacking up small wins. Over weeks and months, those wins compound into stronger bones. And here's the best part. You're not just nourishing your skeleton. These foods also support heart health, energy, and digestion. So, while your bones grow stronger, the rest of your body benefits too. It's about making calcium a natural, enjoyable part of life, instead of another chore. When it comes to bone health, there are a lot of myths floating around, and some of them can do more harm than good. Let's clear up a few of the biggest ones. The first myth is that supplements are always better than food. While supplements can be helpful for people with specific deficiencies, most doctors agree that food should come first. That's because real foods deliver calcium along with other nutrients like vitamin K, magnesium, and protein that work together to strengthen bones. A pill can't fully replace that teamwork. Supplements should be seen as a backup plan, used when your doctor recommends them, not as the main strategy. Another common myth is that only dairy products can protect your bones. The truth is, many people over 60 have trouble digesting large amounts of dairy, and that's okay. Calcium is widely available in vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, and even certain fruits. Dairy is helpful, but it's not the only option. Some people also believe that bone loss is inevitable, and there's nothing you can do about it. While aging does bring natural changes, research shows that diet and lifestyle can slow bone loss significantly. Adding these superfoods, staying active with weight-bearing exercises, and keeping vitamin D levels up all make a measurable difference. And finally, there's the fear that it's too late to start. The reality is, improvements can happen at any age. Even people in their 70s and 80s see benefits when they adjust their diet and activity. The body is always responding to what we feed and how we move it. So, don't let the myths discourage you. Focus on small, consistent steps, and your bones will thank you. We've covered a powerful list of calcium-rich superfoods, dairy and fortified foods, leafy greens, beans and lentils, small fish with edible bones, nuts, seeds, and surprising boosters like figs, tofu, and even blackstrap molasses. Each of them offers a simple, natural way to feed your bones and protect your independence. The key takeaway is this: you don't need extreme diets or piles of supplements. With a little variety and a few smart swaps, you can build stronger bones, meal by meal, week by week. It's never too late to start, and every step you take adds up. If you found this video useful, please give it a like. That helps more people discover it. Subscribe to Senior Vic Health so you never miss practical, easy to follow health tips made for life after 60. And in the comments, share which of these superfoods you're most excited to try. Your answer could inspire someone else to take their first step towards stronger bones.